The return. The deep space monitoring station Galileo 7 had been listening to the cosmos for over a century. Tonight, however, was different. Dr. Sarah Chen stared at her screen in disbelief as an organized pattern of signals emerged from the background noise of the universe. "This can't be right," she muttered, adjusting her glasses and leaning closer to the monitor. The signals weren't random cosmic radiation or pulsar emissions. They were structured, deliberate, and growing stronger by the minute. Her colleague, James Rodriguez, noticed her unusual behavior. "Sarah, what's got you so focused?" "Come look at this," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "These signals, they're artificial, and they're headed straight for Earth." Within hours, every major space agency on the planet had been alerted. The signals were unlike anything humanity had encountered before. They carried mathematical sequences, star charts, and what appeared to be a countdown timer. Dr. Marcus Webb, director of the United Earth Space Council, assembled an emergency meeting. "Ladies and gentlemen, we're facing what could be humanity's first confirmed extraterrestrial contact. The signals indicate arrival in approximately 72 hours. The room erupted in a mixture of excitement and concern. General Patricia Hayes raised her hand. "What are our defense protocols? Should we consider this a potential threat?" Webb shook his head. "The signals include what our linguists believe to be universal peace symbols. They're announcing their arrival, not hiding it. This suggests diplomatic intentions." As the countdown approached 0, humanity held its breath. Telescopes around, the world focused on the predicted arrival coordinates. Military satellites stood ready. Cities buzzed with anticipation and fear. Then, exactly as predicted, they appeared. But something was wrong. Instead of a massive spaceship or fleet of vessels, Earth's instruments detected only a small cluster of objects descending through the atmosphere. They moved with controlled precision, clearly not meteors or debris. The objects landed in the Sahara Desert, in an area quickly cordoned off by international forces. When the dust settled, humanity got its first look at their visitors. 7 beings emerged from escape pod-like vessels. They stood roughly 8 feet tall, with crystalline skin that seemed to shift colors in the sunlight. Their faces were vaguely humanoid but elongated, with large multifaceted eyes that reflected the desert landscape. The lead being stepped forward, raising what appeared to be a translation device. When it spoke, the words came out in perfectly accented English. "Greetings, humans of Earth. I am Ambassador Kyrix of the Zalathi Collective. We have returned after a very long absence, but we find ourselves in an unexpected predicament." Dr. Webb, who had been chosen as humanity's primary representative, stepped forward cautiously. "Welcome to Earth, Ambassador Kyrix. I am Dr. Marcus. Webb, you said you've returned. Have your people been here before?" Kyrix's crystalline features seemed to shimmer with what might have been embarrassment. "Yes, Dr. Webb. Our ancestors visited your world approximately 30,000 of your years ago. We established a research outpost and left our main vessel in stable orbit around your planet. However," the ambassador paused, its large eyes scanning the sky. "Our ship appears to be missing." The human delegation exchanged confused glances. Webb cleared his throat. "Missing? You mean it's not where you left it?" "Precisely," Kyrix confirmed. "Our navigation systems led us here based on the last known coordinates of our mothership, the Eternal Wanderer. It should be in geosynchronous orbit above this location, yet our scans detect nothing. We barely managed to arrive in these emergency vessels." General Hayes stepped forward, her military bearing evident. "Ambassador, you're telling us that your people parked a spaceship in our orbit 30,000 years ago, and now it's simply gone?" Kyrix's skin shifted to a deeper blue hue. "I understand your skepticism, General. This is as puzzling to us as it is to you. The Eternal Wanderer was not merely a ship. It was a city in space, containing the archives of our entire civilization's knowledge. Its loss is catastrophic." Dr. Chen, who had been analyzing data on her tablet, looked up suddenly. "Ambassador, when exactly did your people leave Earth? We have no records of extraterrestrial contact from that time period." "According to our Chronicles, we departed in what you would call 28,000 BCE. We left markers and monitoring devices, but planned to return much sooner. Unfortunately, our civilization encountered difficulties. Civil wars, natural disasters on our homeworld. It took us millennia to rebuild and rediscover the coordinates of this outpost. Webb nodded thoughtfully. That would place your visit during the Upper Paleolithic period. Our ancestors were still hunter-gatherers then. It's possible they might have seen your ship as some kind of celestial phenomenon. Kyrix's translator made a sound that might have been a sigh. We had hoped to find our ship and the research data intact. The Eternal Wanderer contained detailed observations of your species' early development. Now we find ourselves stranded on your world with limited resources. The implications began to sink in for the human delegation. Here were beings, claiming to have visited Earth when humanity was still in its infancy, only to return and find their massive spaceship mysteriously vanished. Ambassador, Webb said carefully, we're happy to help you search for your vessel, but I have to ask, how does a ship that size simply disappear? Could it have crashed? Been destroyed by meteors? Kyrix shook its head, a surprisingly human gesture. The Eternal Wanderer had advanced self-repair systems and defensive capabilities. It was designed to last millions of years if necessary. No natural phenomenon should have been able to destroy it completely without leaving traces. General Hayes narrowed her eyes. What about unnatural phenomena? Could someone have taken it? The question hung heavy in the desert air. The possibility that some unknown force had stolen an advanced alien ship from Earth's orbit was both thrilling and terrifying. Kyrix's skin flickered through several colors before settling on a pale green. That is what we fear. But who could have such capabilities? Your species hadn't developed spaceflight when we left, Dr. Chen interjected. What if it wasn't us? What if other aliens visited Earth after you left? The Zalathi ambassador seemed to consider this. It's possible. The galaxy is vast, and many civilizations have risen and fallen over the millennia. But to take the Eternal Wanderer would require technology beyond most known species. Webb made a decision. Ambassador Kyrix, on behalf of humanity, I offer you our full cooperation in searching for your ship. We have satellites, space stations, and deep space scanners. If the Eternal Wanderer is still out there, we'll help you find it. Kyrix's eyes brightened, literally glowing with what seemed to be hope. You would do this? Even though we are strangers to your world? 30,000 years ago you studied our ancestors, Webb replied with a smile. Consider this our chance to return the favor. Welcome back to Earth. As the human and Zalathi delegations began planning their search, none of them could have imagined what they would discover. The mystery of the missing ship would unravel secrets buried deep in humanity's past and forever change both species' understanding of their place in the cosmos. The sun set over the Sahara, casting long shadows across the desert. Somewhere in the vast expanse of space, clues to the Eternal Wanderer's fate waited to be discovered. The search would lead them to truths more extraordinary than either humans or Zalathi could have imagined. The Joint Human-Zalathi Task Force established headquarters at the European Space Agency's command center. Screens displayed real-time data from satellites, space telescopes, and deep space monitoring stations. The search for the Eternal Wanderer had become humanity's highest priority. Dr. Sarah Chen worked closely with Zalathi scientist Orcs, whose bioluminescent patches pulsed as they analyzed data. Your detection technology is impressive for such a young spacefaring species, Orcs commented, manipulating holographic displays with graceful gestures. We've had to be creative, Chen replied. Limited resources forced us to innovate. But we found no trace of your ship in Earth's orbit or nearby space. Meanwhile, archaeological teams scoured the planet for any evidence of the Zalathi's ancient presence. Dr. Elena Petrov, leading the historical investigation, made the first breakthrough. "We found something," she announced during a video conference. Her excitement was palpable as she displayed images from a cave system in Ethiopia. "These paintings, they're not like typical prehistoric art. Look at these symbols." The screen showed intricate geometric patterns and what appeared to be star maps carved into rock. Ambassador Kyrix leaned forward, his skin shifting to bright gold. Those are Zelathi numerical sequences. This cave must have been near one of our observation posts. The discovery triggered a worldwide search for similar sites. Within weeks, teams reported findings from locations across the globe. The Andes Mountains, underwater caves in the Pacific, even buried beneath Antarctic ice. Each site contained fragments of a larger puzzle, strange metallic artifacts resistant to conventional dating methods, stone tablets with hybrid human Zelathi writing. Most intriguingly, all sites contained variations of the same message. The Watchers remember. Dr. Webb convened an emergency meeting. Ambassador, these sites suggest extensive interaction between our species. Why don't we have any cultural memory of this? Kyrix's expression grew troubled. That itself is a mystery. Our protocols required minimal interference with developing species, yet these sites indicate deeper engagement than our records show. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. A quantum archaeologist named Dr. Raj Pandir had been analyzing the metallic artifacts at the quantum level. His findings sent shockwaves through the investigation. These artifacts aren't just ancient, he explained to the assembled team. They're quantum entangled with something, and that something is responding to our scans. Responding how? General, Hayes demanded. By sending back coordinates that point to the moon. Within days, a joint expedition launched toward Earth's moon. The crew included humans and Zelathi, working together with growing camaraderie. As they approached the coordinates, their instruments detected something impossible, a vast structure buried beneath the lunar surface. Captain Maria Santos, piloting the expedition shuttle, could barely contain her amazement. It's huge. The reading suggest it extends for kilometers underground. They landed near Shackleton Crater, where surface scans indicated an entrance. What they found defied explanation. A perfectly preserved airlock, clearly of Zelathi design, but incorporating elements that seemed almost human. Ambassador Kyrix stood before the ancient door, his skin cycling through colors of confusion and recognition. This technology, it's Zelathi but evolved, changed, as if someone continued developing it after we left. The airlock responded to Kyrix's touch, opening silently despite millennia of dormancy. Inside, they found corridors lit by a soft, eternal glow. The walls contained murals depicting the history they had been trying to uncover. The story revealed in those ancient artworks was staggering. The Zelathi had indeed established observation posts on Earth 30,000 years ago. But they had found something unexpected. Humans were far more adaptable and intelligent than initially assessed. A group of early humans had made contact with the Zelathi, learning from them, working with them. When the Zelathi departed, these humans had been entrusted with a sacred duty, to guard the knowledge and prepare for their return. They had become the Watchers. As the expedition moved deeper into the lunar facility, they discovered the truth about the Eternal Wanderer. In a vast chamber at the structure's heart, they found it, not lost, but transformed. The great ship had been disassembled and integrated into the lunar base. Its technology had been preserved, studied, and improved upon by generations of human watchers. The facility itself was the Eternal Wanderer, rebuilt and hidden to protect it from less benevolent cosmic visitors. In the central chamber, they encountered the current Watcher, an elderly woman named Amara, one of the last descendants of the original Guardians. She had been waiting, maintaining the facility through technologies that merged Zelathi science with human innovation. We knew you would return, she said, her voice carrying the weight of millennia of dedication. Our ancestors made a promise to keep your knowledge safe. The galaxy became dangerous after you left. Other species came, some seeking to conquer, others to plunder. We hid the Wanderer to protect it and Earth. Ambassador Kyrix was overwhelmed. The Zelathi had spent generations believing themselves superior, only to discover that humans had not only preserved their legacy but improved upon it. Dr. Webb stepped forward. Your ship, your knowledge, it's all here. The question is, what happens now? Kyrix looked around the chamber at the blend of Zalathi and human achievement surrounding them. Now, he said slowly, perhaps it's time for a new chapter. Not as observers and subjects, but as partners. The discovery changed everything. The lunar facility contained not just Zalathi technology, but a record of humanity's secret history as guardians of interstellar knowledge. The Watchers had developed technologies in isolation, creating innovations that surprised even the Zalathi. In the months that followed, the revelation transformed human society. The existence of the Watchers proved that humanity had been part of the galactic community far longer than anyone imagined. The lunar facility became a center for joint human-Zalathi research, its technologies helping both species leap forward. The Eternal Wanderer was rebuilt, not as a purely Zalathi vessel, but as a symbol of cooperation. Its new design incorporated the best of both species' innovations, a testament to what could be achieved through unity and trust. Ambassador Kyrix stood with Dr. Webb on the observation deck of the restored ship, looking down at Earth. Our ancestors came here as scientists studying a primitive species, he mused. We returned to find partners who guarded our legacy when we could not. Perhaps this is the true lesson of the Eternal Wanderer. Webb nodded, watching as human and Zalathi crew members worked side by side. Maybe that's the real discovery. Not the ship or the technology, but the proof that trust and cooperation can transcend species, time, and space itself. As the Eternal Wanderer prepared for its first journey in 30,000 years, it carried a crew of both humans and Zalathi. They would explore the galaxy together, seeking new worlds and new civilizations, guided by the lesson learned from their shared past, that sometimes the greatest treasures are not lost but transformed, waiting for the right moment to reveal their true purpose. The stars beckoned, and for the first time in millennia, two species would answer that call as one.